Welcome to World War Podcast, giving you your weekly dose of war. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Dunkirk evacuation / battle. So we'll get right into it. Start off, we'll talk about the British troops. So for the British troops, it was under the control of the BEF, British Expeditionary Force. That was the platoon in France attacking the Germans. So the general was General Lord Gort. He was appointed to command the BEF. The BEF was founded on September 2nd, 1939, and was, I always get this word wrong. Let me just make sure I get it right. Disbanded on May 31st the following year. And it was very quick because the British were almost immediately pushed out by the Germans' blitzkrieg tactics, and all the forces were needed to defend the home of Britain. So that's where all the troops go, and that's why it got disbanded in May 31st. So, the next important thing is blitzkrieg. Blitzkrieg means lightning warfare in Germany. It was a tactic the Germans used to take Poland, Norway, Belgium, Holland, and France. They would have bombers and aircraft go in first to destroy the areas. They would send in tanks, and then they would send in infantry after that. It was a quick way to take away everything. That's why Germany was able to, within a snap, take over almost all of France. So, the next part is Dunkirk. Dunkirk is a little town off the coast of France, and it's right across the English Channel from England. And it was a scene of a massive military campaign. It was the last stand for France and Britain against the Germans for that time period. And it was super strategic because of how close it was to Britain. I believe it was less than 30 miles. I may be wrong on that, but I know it's close to that. So the Battle of Dunkirk itself. So the Allies were all pushed into Dunkirk, and they were trying to evacuate all their troops. The battle lasted from May 26th till June 4th on 1940. This was the last stand. This was the very last stand for France and Britain at the time, especially for France, because if this city fell, then France would not be involved in the war really for the rest of the time, which is what happened besides little patches of resistance. So the starting of the evacuation, they needed to evacuate over 400,000 troops, British and French, but they were only able to evacuate 40,000 at the beginning because of the U-boats and fighter planes. Germany decided, why not just pick on all the Britain and French troops? They could have just sent in the tanks and wiped them out, no problem. But they decided that was a waste of ammunition. So they decided to send in U-boats, which is undersea boats, otherwise known as submarines, and fighter craft to pick off the troops. I'll talk about the casualties in a little bit after that. But the Allies tried to make a counterattack called the Battle of the Ares. Didn't really work, but that's what happened. So the British couldn't send anybody back to Britain because every time a ship would come in, boom, a missile would hit it from the undersea boats, and it would be made ineffective. And there was only one dock for them to launch ships off of. So they sent in civilian ships. They took almost every ship on the southern side of Britain, and they brought it over, and they were able to evacuate almost all the troops. I'll go over the numbers right now. So the aftermath. So 61,000 troops were killed in this, and that was because the Germans were able to pick them off. The Germans were able to take over 100 tanks, 156 aircraft, and over 3,000 transport vehicles. They also lost over 23 destroyers, which is a type of ship, 89 transport ships, and 3 French ships. This was due to the troops, artillery, fighter pilots, bombers, and U-boats. So, that's basically what happened with the Dunkirk. They were able to evacuate almost 300,000 of them, a little bit more than that. But overall, it was a big loss for Britain because then Germany had almost the entire Middle East, and that was a big problem. So I have a quick video for you. I think you guys will enjoy. It's my recommendation, which is Dunkirk, the movie. I'll give you guys a quick preview while I fix this.
the enemy tanks have stopped.
Why?
Why waste precious tanks when they can pick us off from the air like fish in a barrel?
There are 400,000 men on this beach.
He's coming back round. He's coming back round!
Where are we going? Dunkirk.
I'm not going back.
There's no hiding from this sun. We have a job to do.
If we go there, we'll die.
You can practically see it from here.
What?
Home.
Hope you guys enjoyed that trailer. I really liked the movie. I watched it a few times. Finally fixed that. I hope it will stay up. Again, Gorilla Glue, please sponsor us. But now to the sponsor of this video. We have no sponsor this episode, yet again. But next episode is going to be a really big episode. It's so big, we even have 2 sponsorships for it. It's talking about American planes, it's talking about American boats, and it's talking about American land vehicles. It's massive. We have 2 guests and 2 sponsors. It's a massive episode. It's going to be done over Zoom to be COVID safe. And I really hope you guys will watch it, but we'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching.